If you think that turn-based RPGs are slow and outdated, think again. Some of the most strategic, dynamic, and downright thrilling battles in gaming history belong to turn-based combat. And today, I'm here to prove it. We're diving into 10 masterpieces that redefine what turn-based RPGs can be. Games that demand strategy, creativity, and quick thinking. If you think you know turn-based combat, prepare to be surprised. Let's get started.
That we all have inherited heroic virtues deep within us.
Metaphor Refantasio isn't just another RPG, it's a revolution in turn-based combat. Developed by Atlas, the masterminds behind Persona and Shin Megami Tensei, this game blends action and strategy in a way that feels fresh, exhilarating, and surprisingly seamless. At first glance, it might look like an action RPG, allowing players to strike down weaker enemies in real time. But the moment you encounter a formidable foe, the game shifts into an intricate turn-based system, demanding precise decision-making and tactical mastery. This hybrid approach doesn't just add variety, it elevates the entire experience, keeping battles engaging, unpredictable, and intensely satisfying. What makes Metaphor Refantasio stand out even more is its deep, well-crafted mechanics. Every encounter feels meaningful, every ability matters, and every choice has weight. Borrowing from the best elements of Persona's press-turn system and Shin Megami Tensei's strategic depth, it refines turn-based combat into an art form. Beyond the battles, this game delivers an immersive world, rich storytelling, and an atmosphere that pulls you in from the very start. Metaphor isn't just one of the best RPGs of 2024, it's a blueprint for the future of turn-based combat. Years from now, we'll still be talking about how this game set a new standard.
With our own hands.
The time has come.
Fire Emblem Engage may not have the strongest narrative or the most compelling characters, but when it comes to tactical combat, it's a masterpiece. If you play Fire Emblem for its deep, strategic battles, then this game delivers one of the best experiences the series has ever seen. It refines and enhances classic mechanics, bringing back beloved features from previous titles while introducing fresh, dynamic elements that keep every battle engaging and unpredictable. One of the most exciting aspects of Engage's combat is the way it refines core tactical RPG mechanics while maintaining accessibility for both newcomers and veterans. The return of the weapon triangle, where swords beat axes, axes beat lances, and lances beat swords, reintroduces a layer of strategic depth that was less prominent in Three Houses. Positioning is more crucial than ever, with mechanics like Break, which prevents enemies from counterattacking if you exploit their weapon weakness. Unit synergy is also heavily emphasized, with chain attacks allowing backup units to assist in battles, creating opportunities for devastating combos. Unlike its predecessor Three Houses, which focused heavily on storytelling and character development, Engage shifts the spotlight to pure tactical warfare. The introduction of the Engage mechanic adds another layer of depth, allowing characters to merge their powers with legendary heroes from the series' past, unlocking devastating abilities and game-changing strategies. While the story might not be its strongest suit, the sheer quality of its combat system makes it an essential experience for strategy RPG fans. If intelligent systems can take this near-perfect battle system and pair it with a stronger narrative in future titles, we might be looking at the ultimate Fire Emblem game. Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance isn't just another turn-based RPG, it's a masterclass in strategic combat. If you're looking for a game that challenges every decision you make, punishes careless mistakes, and rewards calculated tactics, this is it. The Shin Megami Tensei series has always been known for its unforgiving yet deeply rewarding battles, and Vengeance takes that legacy even further. This game refines and expands upon the mechanics of Shin Megami Tensei 5, introducing new demons, abilities, and story elements that enhance both its challenge and depth. One of the defining aspects of Vengeance's combat is the way it forces players to think several moves ahead, making every battle feel like a carefully calculated chess match. The press-turn system remains at the heart of the experience, rewarding players for exploiting enemy weaknesses with extra turns, while punishing poor choices with devastating consequences. The introduction of new Magatsuhi skills further amplifies strategic depth, allowing both allies and enemies to unleash powerful abilities that can shift the momentum of battle in an instant. Demon Fusion plays an even bigger role in this version, with expanded customization options that encourage experimentation and adaptation. Enemy AI is relentless, constantly forcing you to rethink your strategies and adjust your party composition to counter evolving threats. Unlike its spin-off series Persona, which leans more into character-driven storytelling, Shin Megami Tensei remains fiercely dedicated to intense, high-stakes combat. There's no hand-holding here. It's all about outsmarting your enemies, building a balanced team of demons, and making each turn count. When two of the greatest minds in RPG history, those behind Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, come together, the result is nothing short of legendary. Chrono Trigger isn't just a great turn-based RPG, it's a masterpiece that revolutionized the genre. Released in 1995 for the Super Nintendo, it took everything that made classic RPGs great and elevated it to an entirely new level. The game introduced an innovative battle system that shattered conventions. Instead of random encounters and static battle screens, Chrono Trigger blended exploration and combat seamlessly. Enemies appeared directly in the environment, and battles flowed naturally without transitioning to a separate screen. It was dynamic, fast-paced, and way ahead of its time. But what truly made its combat shine was the introduction of dual techs and triple techs, allowing characters to combine their abilities for devastating attacks. This wasn't just about picking commands, it was about strategy, synergy, and making every battle feel unique. And let's not forget the creative force behind it. With names like Hironobu Sakaguchi, Yuji Horii, Akira Toriyama, and Nobuo Uematsu involved, Chrono Trigger was destined to be special. Its time-traveling narrative, unforgettable soundtrack, and perfectly balanced gameplay turned it into an all-time classic. Even decades later, it remains a benchmark for the genre, re-released across multiple platforms and still regarded as one of the greatest RPGs ever made. Before we move on to the next game, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying this content and want to support the channel, consider using the affiliate links in the description. Whether you're buying a game, a console, or anything else, clicking those links before making a purchase helps out a lot at no extra cost to you. It's a small action that makes a huge difference. Thanks for the support, and now let's get back to the list. Legend of Legaia is more than just a classic. It's a hidden gem that pushed the boundaries of turn-based RPG combat. If you played this game back in the day, chances are you're either well into your 30s or pretty close. But age hasn't dulled its brilliance. Released on the original PlayStation, this game remains one of the most unique and underrated RPGs of its time. What sets Legend of Legaia apart isn't just its story or characters, though those are great too. It's the combat system that truly steals the show. Unlike traditional turn-based RPGs where you simply select attacks from a menu, this game introduced a combo-based system inspired by fighting games. Players could string together directional inputs to unleash devastating techniques, making every battle feel fluid, strategic, and deeply satisfying. Even after decades, it remains one of the most innovative combat systems ever seen in a turn-based RPG. Fans of the game have long hoped for a proper remaster, or even a full remake, and for good reason. The sequel, released on PlayStation 2, never reached the same level of recognition, but the original still holds up remarkably well. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth takes turn-based combat to a whole new level. This isn't your typical slow-paced RPG, far from it. The Yakuza series made a bold shift from its classic beat-em-up roots to a turn-based RPG, and the result? One of the most dynamic, engaging, and downright fun battle systems in the genre. It blends the best elements of traditional RPGs like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, but injects them with the energy and unpredictability of real street fights. The battles flow so seamlessly that you barely notice you're in a turn-based system. It feels alive, responsive, and full of surprises. One of the game's biggest strengths is its sheer creativity. Instead of the usual RPG classes, you get an array of over-the-top jobs inspired by real-world professions, dancers, mechanics, samurais, even secret agents. Each class comes with its own unique abilities, making every fight a playground for experimentation. And it doesn't stop there. Positioning matters too. If a teammate is in the right place at the right time, they'll step in with a follow-up attack, chaining devastating combos without breaking the momentum. Every battle feels fresh, rewarding, and unpredictable. The deeper you dive into its combat system, the more you realize just how much freedom and strategy it offers. Like a Dragon didn't just transition to turn-based gameplay, it redefined what turn-based combat can be, proving that even the most action-packed franchises can make the switch and come out stronger than ever. Tactics Ogre laid the foundation for what would become one of the greatest tactical RPG combat systems of all time. Without it, we might never have seen the brilliance of Final Fantasy Tactics or the evolution of strategy RPGs as we know them today. The remastered Tactics Ogre Reborn brings this legendary title to modern platforms, refining its mechanics while preserving everything that made it a masterpiece. What sets Tactics Ogre apart is its deep, unforgiving strategy. Every decision matters, every move can shift the tide of battle, and no two fights ever play out the same way. Terrain, positioning, and unit composition can mean the difference between victory and crushing defeat. Unlike many RPGs where brute force is enough, here, planning is everything. You need to anticipate your enemy's tactics, adapt to changing conditions, and master a combat system that rewards patience, precision, and calculated risk-taking. But complexity doesn't mean frustration. Tactics Ogre is challenging, yes, but it's also brilliantly designed. It strikes the perfect balance between depth and accessibility, keeping players engaged without overwhelming them. The thrill of outmaneuvering an opponent, the satisfaction of executing a flawless strategy, it's what makes this game an unforgettable experience. If you're a fan of tactical RPGs, this is a must-play. A game that set the gold standard for the genre and still holds up as one of the best to this day. Final Fantasy X introduced one of the most refined and strategic turn-based combat systems in the entire franchise. While previous games relied on the active time battle system, where speed played a crucial role, Final Fantasy X took a different approach, one that prioritized pure strategy and tactical depth. The key innovation? The ability to swap party members mid-battle changed everything. No longer were you locked into a fixed team for an entire fight. Instead, you could adapt on the fly, bringing in the right character at the right moment to exploit an enemy's weakness. Need a magic user? Call in Lulu? Facing a heavy-hitting boss? Bring in Auron for some serious damage. This level of flexibility added a new layer of depth that few RPGs had achieved at the time. Another standout feature was the conditional turn-based battle system, which allowed players to see the turn order in advance, making every action feel deliberate. Unlike the frantic pace of ATB, where you had to act quickly, CTB encouraged careful planning. Every spell, attack, or item could shift the turn order, forcing players to think ahead rather than just react. Final Fantasy X also redefined how summons, or Aeons, functioned in battle. Unlike previous entries where summons simply appeared, unleashed a powerful attack, and vanished, Final Fantasy X allowed players to directly control them as temporary party members. Each Aeon had its own stats, abilities, and overdrives, making them feel like fully fleshed-out combatants rather than just flashy special moves. This combat system was so polished that it remains a gold standard for turn-based RPGs. Even with the franchise later shifting toward real-time mechanics in games like Final Fantasy XII and XV, the strategic brilliance of Final Fantasy X's battles still holds up today. Dragon Quest XI is proof that tradition doesn't mean stagnation, it means refinement. While some might argue that the Dragon Quest series sticks too closely to its roots, a deeper look reveals a combat system that has evolved significantly over the years, fine-tuning what made classic turn-based RPGs so engaging in the first place. What makes Dragon Quest XI stand out is its flexibility. Players can choose between a fully free movement battle system, adding an extra layer of immersion and dynamism, or opt for the classic, stationary turn-based combat that longtime fans know and love. This dual approach caters to both veterans of the series and newcomers who might be used to more action-oriented RPGs. Another key strength of Dragon Quest XI's combat is its emphasis on party synergy and skill progression. Each character follows a unique skill tree, allowing for deep customization based on preferred playstyles. Whether you want to build a high-damage glass cannon, a defensive tank, or a versatile healer, the game provides meaningful choices that impact battle strategy. The PEP system further enhances combat, giving characters temporary power boosts that unlock powerful combination attacks when certain conditions are met. These abilities encourage tactical planning, rewarding players who pay close attention to party dynamics and enemy patterns. The result is a combat system that, while rooted in tradition, remains fresh, engaging, and full of strategic depth.
Task to be getting on. Go save the world.
Do not lose heart. Do not look back.
Baldur's Gate 3 isn't just a turn-based RPG, it's a revolution in the genre. Crowned the best game of 2023, it's a testament to Larian Studios' mastery of deep tactical combat and player-driven storytelling. They took everything they learned from the Divinity series and pushed it to a whole new level, creating an experience that feels limitless. This game gives you unparalleled freedom in battle. Every encounter is a puzzle waiting to be solved, where creativity is just as important as strategy. Want to turn the tide with a clever spell? Manipulate the environment? Use dialogue to avoid a fight entirely? Every choice is yours to make, and the results can be as chaotic or as genius as you want them to be. Every battle is more than just trading blows, it's about positioning, environmental awareness, and clever resource management. Elevation plays a critical role as attacking from higher ground increases accuracy and damage, while obstacles and lighting conditions can provide cover or concealment. The game also encourages creative use of spells and abilities, whether it's using Gust of Wind to push enemies off cliffs, Grease to make them slip, or Silence to shut down enemy spellcasters. Status effects, resistances, and action economy force players to think several moves ahead, making every encounter a dynamic and evolving challenge. Set in the legendary world of Dungeons & Dragons, Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't just adapt the tabletop experience, it brings it to life in a way that no other RPG has before. The dice rolls, the dynamic interactions, the unpredictable outcomes, Everything feels like you're crafting your own adventure in a world that reacts to your every move. No two playthroughs are ever the same. A single decision can reshape your journey, and the game encourages you to experiment, to push the boundaries of what's possible. With one of the most refined and rewarding turn-based combat systems ever created, Baldur's Gate 3 is a new gold standard, one that will inspire RPGs for years to come.
Universe itself.
How would you feel about helping me kill some evil bastards?
And that wraps up our list. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you agree with these picks? Are there any turn-based RPGs you think deserve a spot here? Drop a comment below. We read and reply to every comment, so let's keep the conversation going. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and brings you more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.